And so dealing with that, I was in college, and it was my first time like leaving for leaving the nest, as they say, and going to school away. I had went to Rutgers Camden for a little bit, so I was commuting from home. But I said, let me try to do something. Maybe let me feel more of like an adult, and I'll just go live on campus. So I went to Morgan State in Baltimore.
Okay.
Literally left. I made the cheer team, so went down there for practice and everything. First day of practice, I get a call. You need to come home. Mom just got rushed to the hospital. Things aren't looking good. What are you talking about? But literally, my first night away from school, away at school, my mom ended up passing away that night. So ended up coming back home, finishing school at Rutgers. But then right after that, my great-grandmother passed away. A couple years after that, my grandmom passed away, my mom's mom.
Wow.
1 month after that, my dad's mom passed away. So I lost both grandmoms within 30 days.
Wow.
And then maybe about 2-3 years ago, my dad started to, get his feet wet into the dating pool again. Found a woman, we called her our bonus mom. Absolutely loved her. On the day of my parents' anniversary.
It's time to collect some real estate. It's time to go to another level. I have a very, very special guest with the last name Solomon. And speaking of the name Solomon, King Solomon is one of the wisest men ever to walk this earth. And so fitting that wisdom actually means woman. So I actually have a woman right here with the last name Solomon. So you see how that correlates right there? Candace Solomon is here in the Unshakeable Conversation podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Candace, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming in last minute and everything, of course. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
Very happy to be here. Very excited too.
Awesome. You like that little intro right there, you know what I'm saying? Had to tie
you put that together, put a little sauce on it. I like that.
It's a little freestyle and everything, a little freestyle, from cats from Willingboro, New Jersey. We freestyle a little bit. All right. But listen, so real estate, mom, all of that good stuff. How is it being a mother?
It is a challenge, but it is very rewarding.
Yeah.
Before I became a mother, people would say things like, you don't really know until you actually have one. Or, once you get to that point, everything will start to make sense. And I have so much respect now for my parents and, just a different level of understanding. It's something that I could never regret. And the lessons that I've learned as a mom, I could have only learned being a mom.
Right?
Yep.
Is it like, when you were younger, you didn't really understand what your mom or your parents were sitting there telling you, and then like now that you see it, it's like, okay, I see it now. I got to flip the script.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because when you're younger and you do things and maybe your parents tell you no or whatever, you think mom and dad just being mean.
Right.
But now it's like I understand.
Right.
Especially now having to be that parent, be that disciplinarian, and my son's only 3, and sometimes I tell him no, and the waterworks start, and I start to feel bad.
Yeah.
My heart starts breaking.
Oh, don't get soft on him.
Right.
Now. Don't get soft on him now. He gonna need that toughness, that sternness.
But even that right there, like that's what our parents had to do for us.
Right.
And so now, being parents ourselves, it's like, I get it now.
Yeah,
you were right.
Absolutely. That's a blessing. So you got into real estate. Okay. When did you start getting into real estate?
So it was actually right after college.
Okay.
And it was not planned.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
Real estate just kind of fell into my lap.
Okay, so take us through this. Okay. Not planned. I like stuff that's not planned.
Yeah.
All right, take us through.
So when I started college, I was one of those people that had no idea what they wanted to do. And I actually feel like that's a good thing. Because like we were talking just before we went live, you have to, test drive different things until you find out what it is you want to do.
Right.
I originally was going to go to Temple University for social work.
Okay.
Decided I don't even want to be a social worker, so why do I even want to do that?
Right.
Then I thought I was going to be an attorney, so was going to go to Rutgers Law School.
Right.
Then decided I'm just going to do general business because whatever it is I'm going to do, I know it's going to be somewhere in that field, so boom, I'm just going to do that.
Right.
So went to school, got my business degree, and then when you get out of college, you're looking for a job because now you got to repay the student loans, right? So a mortgage job.
It's the American dream.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
A mortgage job fell into my lap, and the only requirement was we'll do all the training, but you have to have a bachelor's degree. So I said, okay, well, mortgages, numbers, business, okay, let's just try it.
Okay.
ended up loving helping people get into homes. But I was in a cubicle with no windows. I was building relationships with clients, but only through the phone. I would never see them in person.
Right.
And somebody said, well, why don't you like sell mortgages? Why don't you be the salesperson? And I thought about it. I said, well, you're still kind of in an office punching numbers. Don't really want to do that. And then I went through the process of buying my first house. I was 23.
Wow.
And I had somewhat of a knowledge of the process because of my job, you know, in mortgage, but I kept watching my real estate agent. I'm like, the relationship I'm building with her, I'm seeing her in real life. She's actually doing something that is impacting my life in some kind of way. I think I could do that. And literally right after I bought my first house, I went to real estate school, passed the test with flying colors, and then started as a real estate agent.
Wow.
And it just... those first couple of closings and seeing, you know, the clients, especially the first time home buyers, it's something that never gets old.
Wow.
So it was random, but I'm glad it happened.
That's good, because it's like, you know, seeing somebody get into their first home and how hard they work for, you know, just to get there. You never know what their background story is. You never know what they've been through or anything like that. So you helping them, is there like some type of fulfillment and everything in that when you help them close their first home?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm that real estate agent. Don't cry at closing, because I might start crying with you.
Yeah.
Because I think back to those original conversations. A lot of people that I close with, and you know, I help them get their home. When they come to me, they're not exactly ready.
Right.
So I'm helping them save. I'm helping them fix their credit. I'm helping them, you know, secure these jobs and make sure they stay in position. I'm literally going through it with them, and their successes, their failures, their, you know, heartbreaks and disappointments and stuff, and we're literally going through it together. So when they finally get to that point and you see them achieve this goal, that they literally came to you with like a bunch of different pieces, right? Like building a cake. I got all the stuff, but I need you to, you know, help me put everything together. Right. And actually seeing that finished product and seeing how happy they are with their families, I love it.
Wow, it's funny because when you put it like that, I look at it like how God deals with us sometimes, right? It's like sometimes we don't want to give him anything at all, right? But if he says, "Hey, give me what you got," right, and then he makes immaculate things out of it, right? And it sounds like, you know, for some of these first time home buyers, it's like, okay, this is where you're at. This is what we need to do. Let's put all these things in order. Give me all the pieces. Let's bake a cake and let's make it happen, right? Yep. Now, are there anybody that unfortunately that don't end up getting a home? Like, is it a success with everyone that you meet?
I can't say there's 100% success, but what I can say is if you're 100% committed, then I will 100% help you. Now, as far as the timeline, I'll be honest with you. I have a family member that came to me, was not ready, but I said, you know what? If you rock with this, I'll match your energy. Okay. Took us 2 years, but she got it. Okay. And I'll, like I said, if you're consistent, you stay committed, and I hold you accountable, and you make sure, you know, you're taking these actions. Steps that I'm giving you, I'll stay with you, and it doesn't matter. You know, I plan to be a real estate agent for the long haul. So if it takes you 5 years, I'll be here all 5 of those years. Right. But I can't want it more than you do.
Got it.
So
for for those that are like, I don't know, young and maybe interested in the real estate market and getting into the field that you're into, what's some of the advice that you would give them?
I would say All right. So this is just my honest advice. Don't get into it for the money. And I have to put it that way because when you think of real estate, you think of the social media agent, right?
Yep.
The one getting out the Range Rover or whatever and
Yep.
selling $1 million homes, making the six figure commissions.
Right.
It's not. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Especially when you're first getting started. Real estate is a very expensive business to get into, so you're going to be in the negative before you even make anything. And so I feel like a lot of the reason why I found success in it was because I found that my purpose was so much it just went so much farther beyond
Right.
the commission or what I was getting out of it. And that had a lot to do with why I got into real estate in the first place too, because I struggled with trying to figure out what my purpose was. And it wasn't until I realized my purpose wasn't exactly what I was doing, but it was how people felt or how I impacted them based off of what I was doing.
Wow.
And so to go back to what we were talking about with the closings and seeing people achieve those goals and stuff like that, it was less about me showing the homes and me writing up the contract and negotiating and stuff. It was all about that end product at the end.
Yes.
And if you have a passion for something like that, then I recommend real estate for you. But if you're just, looking for a quick buck, real estate slow money for real.
Yeah, it's slow bread. Wow. It's funny because even in my field of personal development, professional development, it's really about the result that you get from the individual, right? I could go in there and I tell people this all the time because, companies hit me up and say, hey, yeah, we need a motivational speaker. And I'm like, That's cool, and I could do that. But what comes after that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What comes after you're all hyped up? What comes after you're energized and you're ready to go? Because that could last for about a couple days to maybe a week or so. And then what? Because life is going to happen. So my proposal is always, I'll come in and I'll give the speech, but let's do something a little bit further that's going to, last a little bit longer. Let's test this thing out. Let's go further. Let's go 6 to 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, why? Because if you really want lasting change inside your company for team success, it's going to take more than just one speech, right? And I tell people all the time, some people, they'll hit me up and say, hey, yeah, I want to be a speaker. I say, yeah, but are you looking to fulfill people so that they have the change that they're looking for in the end? Because think about it. How a person, people talk about what, depression, anxiety, and all these other things, right? All the time. But how did they get there?
Mm-hmm.
It took days, weeks, months, sometimes even years for them to even get to that low point in their life, that it's going to probably take the same amount of time to undo a lot of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So you're absolutely right when it comes to, okay, I I'm in this for the long haul because number one, I love seeing I love seeing their faces. I love seeing, that I'm closing these people and they're going into their first home. It's something that's fulfilling about that and is purposeful for you. It's not even about the money. Think that, and let me know your thoughts on this. And it doesn't even matter what profession it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in it for the money, you're probably in it for the short term. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because when you're in it for that, you're looking for instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times a lot of people will make the money that they came for,
Mm-hmm.
and then they dip and they go off to whatever appears to be the next best thing.
Right.
And you really find there's no real fulfillment in that anyway.
Yeah.
Because again, you're just jumping to the next best thing. You're not really cultivating anything.
Right. Wow. Wow. Let's jump back a little bit. So, going through your teenage years into your early 20s, and did you always have a mindset of ambition that you wanted to do something in business, or was it more the traditional route first, or what were some of the I guess pitfalls rather that you kind of went through, and how did you overcome them?
So what a lot of people don't know is I lost my mom when I was 19.
Oh, wow.
And so dealing with that, I was in college and it was my first time like leaving for leaving the nest, as they say, and going to school away. I had went to Rutgers Camden for a little bit, so I was commuting from home. But I said, let me try to, do something, maybe let me feel more of like an adult, and I'll just go live on campus. So I went to Morgan State in Baltimore.
Okay.
Literally left. I joined I made the cheer team, so went down there for practice and everything. First day of practice, I get a call. You need to come home. Mom just got rushed to the hospital. Things aren't looking good. What are you talking about? But literally, my first night away from school, away at school, my mom ended up passing away that night.
Wow.
So ended up coming back home, finishing school at Rutgers. But then right after that, my great grandmother passed away. A couple years after that, my grandmom passed away, my mom's mom.
Wow.
1 month after that, my dad's mom passed away. So I lost both grandmoms within 30 days.
Wow.
And then maybe about 2-3 years ago, my dad started to, get his feet wet into the dating pool again.
Yeah.
Found a woman We called her our bonus mom.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved her.
Yeah.
On the day of my parents' anniversary, she passed away. Literally, the last time I saw her was on Mother's Day.
Wow.
So when you talk about just the ambition that I have and just being able to do things and continue to push in spite of adversity, I feel like as I was trying to mature and build this person, I was just being hit with loss after loss after loss. And it wasn't, not to say that one loss is more painful than another or anything like that. Right. But you think of a woman trying to navigate through life and she's losing her mom, her grandmom, her,
right,
and it's just these influential women in your life, and then to be left with nothing after that. Because I don't really have like close like aunts or older female cousins or anything like that. So actually for a period of time I felt like kind of like an orphan in a way. Have my dad, love my dad, he's one of my best friends, but it's that maternal guidance I was missing.
Right.
And then to become like a wife and mother and go through all of that without that guidance. I feel like I've been shaped a little different. I'm built a little different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I would agree. So what was the strength that you pulled on, during that time?
Oh, I would not be here if my parents did not instill God in me. Absolutely not. Yeah. There's no way.
Ain't no way.
Even when I lost my mom, I'm one of 4 siblings, and out of the 4 of them, between my dad and the funeral home, everybody was calling me. We need you to come and do this. You to come and do this. Your brother and your sisters aren't really. They're not quite there to. They're not strong enough right now to be able to get this stuff done. I just feel like I've always been. There's always that one. There's always that one, and that was me. I'm in the middle.
So let me share this with you. Even though you're in the middle, it seems that you're still the firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, biblically speaking, the firstborn doesn't actually mean the first one born out of all your siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Firstborn means like the chosen one. So,
Wow.
so you out of all your siblings were probably the chosen one, and the one that God chose to lead the pack. You know, so I just want to throw some encouragement and everything your way. So that may be a reason why, right? And I look at it like this as well too. Even in my family, I have older cousins. I'm like, I'm one of the youngest out of all my cousins. So I'm 39. I'll be 40 soon. So all my cousins, they're in their mid 40s, 50s, 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like when it comes down to events, or if I gotta ask people to come in, like everybody's coming, Kenny, can you do this, or can you do that, or whatever? Or if I say, hey, listen, this is happening, I'm pushing everybody to go. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if Kenny going, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really want that responsibility necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes as leaders, we have to,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're called to. We have to take that on. And for you, it's like, do you take those same traits and you instill it into your son as well too?
I feel like I do,
Mm-hmm.
and not even on purpose.
Mm.
And that's the other thing too. When something's really in you, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you just do things naturally without realizing
Right,
it.
right, right.
Even with my job, and just
Mm-hmm.
the way I carry myself and
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Just the way that I work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because I'm thinking about, oh, let me do what I need to do in order to win over this client.
Correct.
No, let me just do what I do,
Do what you
and
do.
what's naturally in me to do, and what's for me is for me. So if this client is mine, then they're going to be mine.
There it is. There it is. That's super dope. So let's shift it a little bit here, right? So I'm gonna go back to real estate for a second. And so I've seen so many people in real estate. You got the Grant Cardones of the world. You got the right now it's that the one of the biggest stories I see with the who's that the flipping NJ dude.
Yes.
With DJ Envy. And stuff like that, and I'm not very educated on how that whole thing is playing out. But for somebody that is into that, how many times do you see, and I'm not claiming that DJ Envy was scamming or anything like that. I don't know. I'm just outside looking in. But how often do you see scam artists and everything from real estate? Is that even a thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I see it more often than I feel comfortable admitting. I'll put it that way.
Wow.
Even it can be as small as someone claiming that, they're a top producing agent, or they have all this experience and they can help you buy this $1 million home, but they've never actually closed anything. And it's a catch-22 a little bit, because when you're newer and you're trying to market yourself and you're trying to build a business, of course you're trying to attract a certain clientele, or
Right.
you're trying to get your book of business going.
Yep.
But it's scary because of the industry that we're in and the job that we have. It weighs so heavy in people's everyday life.
Right.
The way that I look at my job, I'm dealing with people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
You don't mess with people's money now.
Right. Big
So
facts.
I take what I do very seriously, and even though I've I've been here for a little while. I have extensive experience and stuff like that, but I'll never get to the point where I'm going to stop educating myself.
Right.
I'll never stop investing, in my career development or, anything like that. So anything. I put out there, I am who I say I am. And the scary thing is a lot of people are not. And in this day and age with social media and everything, I mean, if you get you a crispy camera and you take some good pictures, you can look real legit.
You're gonna look dope. Yup.
I tell my clients all the time, vet the people that you're speaking to.
Right.
Ask questions. In our industry, you can hear when someone speaks if they know what they're talking about.
Yep.
And really use discernment. I feel like if you look at real estate as an investment, you'll take your purchase or your sale seriously.
Yeah.
And you'll take your choice in the professional that you choose to work with seriously too.
Facts. Yo, Matt, didn't you have something going on with a real estate agent like a while back? Was it? I don't know if it was that.
What happened? You gotta get more details.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I felt like somebody was trying to take your bread or something like that. Like, I don't know if you've been through the situation like that before.
Yes. That was with the who's the person that give you the money? The lender.
The lender.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Man, listen. So, me personally, I've been in one instance where we were young though. I was like 20. So it was this house over in Merchantville. And it was like a 7-bedroom home. And it was me and all my homies. And we was like, yo, let's just go ahead and get this crib. Right? Bad idea. Right. Bad idea, but the experience, it was like a frat house in a sense, I guess.
Okay.
Right? And I learned a lot. in that aspect. So I'll never regret it. I'll never take it back, you know. But I remember the rent for it was like $2,200 a month. And at 20 years old, I can't afford that. I'm not even making $2,200 a month at that time. So we were all supposed to split it, and it ended up like not going that way. So the owner of that house ends up like selling the home without us knowing to some random person. Didn't even know who she was. She just came and said, yeah, I'm here to collect rent. And I'm like, we don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Like, it was super crazy. I called the guy that we had signed the deal with, and he just disappeared from the face of the earth. Like, it was one of those wild stories.
What?
Yeah. Somebody else said he was like a drug dealer or something like that. Like, it was wild. Like, I'm like, so I ended up just bouncing. Like, I just left. Like, you know what? I'm out. Everybody else had left or whatever. I was like one of the last ones to leave because my name was on the lease. So I was just like, you know what, forget it, I'm out. Like, they're gonna do what they do with it. But praise God, nothing else ever happened.
That's crazy.
It was wild. It was one of those
crazy.
that was probably the wildest real estate or anything to deal with a house that I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've never really had a bad experience or anything like that. But I do know that these scams, do happen. People just have to be careful with anything that you do because you never really know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Super crazy. So I want to shift it a little bit. So you've had, so how long have you been doing your career?
I just started my 6th year as a real estate agent.
Okay.
If you add in my years in mortgage, we're talking like 9-10 years now.
9-10 years. Okay. And with the amount of success that you've had, right? I was talking to a couple of my homies and everything about this. I was talking to my sister about it as well too. Do you ever feel like the success that you had or have has affected other people in a negative way where they may see you or view you like, oh, she changed and she's got, all these followers, or she's this, or she's that and everything, like feel like that you don't have time for them, even though it may be vice versa? Have you ever felt that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing is a lot of it is is felt from the people who distance themselves from you when
Right.
they start to see you elevating. And I feel like it's more of a reflection of how they feel.
Yep.
They're projecting.
Yeah.
And so they're distancing themselves from me.
Mm.
But the ones that decide to cleave may look at it like, you know what, if she's being blessed like this, or if she's doing well, maybe I can learn from her, or maybe I can benefit. Or what's that saying? They say, like, if your best friend or somebody close to you is getting blessed, that mean God right around the corner, or he right next door.
That's right.
The friends that look at it like that, they look at me like, well, girl, you haven't changed at all. You still, the girl from around the way. You still cool.
Yeah.
The ones that kind of, back up, or like, oh, she thinks she this, she thinks she that.
Yeah, I always look at it like, I don't think that I've necessarily changed. I've elevated, though. You know what I'm saying? And I think they were all supposed to elevate. I think that some people, they may view it as in, man, like, I wish that was me. But in reality, you have your own success. I think if people start to look and see what they have within themselves, they won't feel that way. Because you're successful in real estate. I'm successful in what I do. But how we're successful, they can still work collectively together. You know, we could celebrate each other even though we both are, going to another level in our own respective fields.
Right.
But why do you feel like something, like, I don't know, do you think like it's it could be a root cause, something like that? Maybe somebody's dealing with something personal and then they take it out on you?
Sometimes it is personal, and then other times I feel like when you think about someone else being in the same space as you at one point. Oh, we're from the same hood, or we went to the same school,
Right.
or whatever, and now I see you doing all of this, and I'm doing, this. You're looking at what I'm doing and comparing it to what you're doing. But what I like to look at it is even, the different things we talked about earlier, and the different things that I've gone through. You don't know the things that I've been through in order to get to where I am.
Come on.
You don't know the things that I've done to invest in myself or better myself. To get to where I am. Now, if you do know, look at what I've done. Ask yourself, have you done anything, in comparison to that?
Right.
And if not, then that's where the issue lies. It doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing. It's what you're not doing.
Right.
You can't get mad at me for achieving a certain level of success from some work that you haven't done.
Come on now. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you said a key word, investing, right? How often are we willing to invest in ourselves, invest in our dreams and our business, in our purpose, right? I think people really and Matt, you could jump in on this one or whatever if you want after I say this. I think some people, they lack focus on their purpose. Right? Because of the distractions of what they see